everyone. Welcome to Elite Link Education Podcast. This is Serene. And today we have one of my favorite Broadway actor. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Elite Link Education Podcast. This is Serene. And today we have one of my favorite Broadway actor, Ariano, on our podcast. So he has such a long performing list that I'm just so impressed. He is a Broadway actor and a lead actor in The King and I, Miss Saigon, and many other shows. Also, his TV credits, including FBI, Law and Order. I can go on, but I don't want to just recite his resume for you guys.
I open people's hearts with my bare hands. Bertie and Imelda were avid fans.
So Alan, can you start to introduce yourself a little bit more?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Alan Ariano. I'm of Filipino descent. My family and I immigrated to the States when I was 4 years old, and we landed in San Diego because my father was in the Navy. And that's where I pretty much grew up. So I'm a California Navy brat. And I actually started out as an engineer major before I became an actor, and discovered my love for acting very late. And I switched majors from engineering to acting from San Diego State and transferred and changed schools, actually changed to a theater major. And that was a long time ago. I've been acting on stage and film for now 36 years right out of college. I've performed all over the country, as well as, the West Coast and New York and Broadway. So that's a little bit about me.
Because I was very, very impressed that he has so much talent, not only in acting, in singing, but also he is a designer. Right? You're a designer and a photographer. Wow, it's just so many hidden skills. So first question, focusing on your acting career here for a moment. So what is your most powerful moment in your acting career?
I've had a few, life-changing moments, but I think that my favorite one is when I booked the original company of the original Miss Saigon, back in 1991. I had the fortune of already having 3 Broadway shows under my belt, of only being in New York for 2 years. But those 3 Broadway shows, I wasn't the original cast of. So I joined them after they opened. But with Miss Saigon, it was this blockbuster hit in London, and we knew it was coming to New York and it was going to be a big success. The producers actually went on a year-round world tour of auditioning people all over the world to find the New York company, the original New York company. So when I booked that, it was beyond my wildest dreams, and it'll be a memory I'll never forget. So, and yeah, who knew? Even though being a successful show, I didn't know it would run more than a few years. Well, that ran 10 years. And I actually remained with the company for 10 years at that point.
Wow.
Yeah, I stayed the whole time.
So I actually had the honor to, I went to Alan's performance personally, I think 2 years ago. And I was just amazed how you change your persona, your character from one to another. And you're just like that person in that moment. I forgot you're the Ellen that I know. So how do you establish a persona for your show?
Well, research, I have to say, is the most important thing. When you're given a script, you're given a lot of clues in the script from what other people say about your character and what you express in your lines. So carefully studying the script. I always read the script like 3 to 5 times before I even start trying to memorize lines. And then if it's based on any historical facts or events about that person, then to do extended research. look into now we have the internet, but back in the old days, you'd have to go to the library and find out more about that person to give you all the information you can. So that's the two important things is research. Well, the first one, that was the first one. The second one, I'd have to say, if I had to do one more, is find the character's needs and wants in what you can derive from the script. Because every human being, we all have hungers and needs. Mm-hmm. And I actually call it, what is the food of this character? What feeds them? Do they need someone's love? Do they need someone's attention? Do they need this job? Do they need literally food if they're a starving character? So what is the food that drives the character in that span of time that you're performing on that stage, or minutes, or whatever it is in a TV show? So
I really, really like that idea.
Yeah.
So basically, from what we have been discussing here, if you study the character really well and practice, you can basically be anyone you want when you're on stage. So I think this skill can transform or can also help professionals that at workplace doing elevator pitch or meeting an investor or even just a job interview. Because those can be really, really helpful when you can have the professional presence that you want. Right?
Absolutely.
So how do you think acting skill can benefit people at workplace?
Well, in my mind, to be a successful actor, when you walk into a room for an audition or when you go on stage, the best power you have is to have control. So when you have control, then whoever you're presenting this to, whoever you're speaking, whoever's watching you or you're being interviewed by will notice that you have control and that you have power. Mm-hmm. So what's in order to have control, how do you do that? And the only thing you can control is yourself, right? Yes. So in finding that control and finding what you need and want, then you can control everything about you. It's not so much about like controlling what they need, controlling about what they want, or trying to pretend. Just be your best self. Be prepared. It's all preparation when you do the research. So for the business side, I think it's us actors, we do what's called auditions. It's our version of the interview. And what I was trained in is from the minute you walk in that door to the minute you walk out is your interview. It's not just when you're acting in the 2 minutes, whether you're doing a monologue or a song, but as soon as you walk in the door, they're already noticing you. So if you don't have a control, if you're a little nervous and fidgety before your interview or before your audition, that's going to manifest in them subconsciously noticing that you're out of control and that there's unbalance. But if they see somebody who's balanced, who's in control, that shows power, and that shows someone that they're going to want to work with, or they're going to want to follow, or they're going to want to have on their team. So yeah,
that's really, really, really powerful. And I really love that you mentioned being in control, but be yourself, not pretending. It's different. Pretending and acting is different. Pretending and establishing a persona, that's also different. And sometimes when we're nervous, we hide from like a mask or something. That's pretending. And I think if you have your persona, that's bring you the power and the confidence.
So another part of having control of yourself is what we actors do. We do exercises physically and emotionally in order for us to have that control during the interview, during the time. Because again, the only thing you have control over is yourself. So if you do the exercises, whether it's running a speech, or whether it's learning how to calm your breathing, or learning how to speak without stammering or stuttering, then those things that you have in control, again, they're gonna take that in. So yeah.
So I'm just thrilled that I'm doing a Power Up workshop, and Alan is our star coach that really helps our participant, anyone who want to establish their personal branding, personal image in business field to succeed. So I'm just really, really happy we're doing this together and bring this power for people who are in need. And
Yeah, I'm excited too, because to be honest, when, with my training, we're not all successful immediately. We're not always getting jobs. And it's just the nature of our business that there's going to be slow times. So thank you for mentioning that I'm also a designer, a graphic designer and photographer. I decided that I needed something to help me along the way. Gosh, I lost my train of thought about finding that power in your interview. So yeah. I'm excited because what I wanted to share was I noticed in applying for graphic design work or applying for, like, especially when I was when I was a waiter, having those interviews, I realized that being an actor, all the training I had being an actor helped me in my self-presentation walking into these interviews. And I would walk out and I was like, wow, I did that really well. And it was because I had the training of doing my self-person exercises from breathing and from speaking and holding myself. So yeah, I think it's important that this translates really well into the business world.
That's really, really helpful, because think about that. A lot of occasions in our daily life, it's like audition. Yes. Even walking to a date, a job interview, or meeting your investor, which is a super important audition there. So by combining linguistic, methodology, psychology, and acting skill, it can be really, really effective and helpful for a person to establish a persona, confidence, and the skill to help them succeed when they walk through those auditions.
Absolutely. Or interviews.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
And one more quick question.
Sure.
So a lot of students who are in art school want to become an actor, a singer, especially Broadway show actor in future. So do you have any advice for them?
I've always, I think what's very important is training. And I think that's something we're touching upon here. In the 40 years I've been in this business and going back and forth on the coasts, I noticed that being a New York actor, everyone with my peers or my circle have had training. When I got to LA, in Hollywood and TV, everybody wants to be an actor, right? So I wanted to explore what kind of training I could get in LA. So I would take these classes from casting directors, and they would coach you about the business. And what I noticed was that he would pick up my resume, or one or two, at least two of the casting directors would pick up my resume and say, look at this, everybody, training, not just a degree, but classes and coaching on both coasts, whether it's voice, movement, or acting. And that got me a long way. I also realized that here in New York, a lot of people, I noticed that somebody once said, Alan Ariano, he sings, or he books all these jobs, but he's not the best singer, he's not the best actor, he's not the best dancer. And whatever, that was their opinion. But I was booking the jobs, and I give credit to is my training. Mm-hmm. Because in my training, the school I went to, it was really important about that audition, those 5 to 10 minutes or 15 minutes that you're in the room. And that's what I focused on as soon as I walked in the room, how I presented myself, not just as an audition, but just who I was. So training is a big factor. If you can't go to a university or that kind of an organization, then take class. There's a lot of acting schools that you can go to, or private coaching if you're able to. That helps. And then even if you have a degree, I myself is very important in between jobs, and when I can afford it, I will have a private coach. Because in this business, as you're growing as an actor, as you're growing as a human being, and you age and you learn new life skills, you change. So therefore, your acting skills will change. So you have to stay with that change in life around you and apply it into your skills as you move forward. Because because you'll be a different person when you're a 21-year-old actor as you would be a 40-year-old actor. You've got a span of another 20 years of life that changes that person. So I think training is a big important thing to becoming an actor.
That's so inspirational. And one thing you mentioned super important is, even though you had the degree, you still need training and practice, and you will change in your career. Different stages, you will need different skills, and you will become a different you because you keep growing. So if someone stopped to train, to practice, then this person will maybe stay skill set or career set, stay in the one same spot like 10 years.
Right. Very good.
So I'm just really happy we had this conversation, super inspirational, and I'm thrilled and excited to have this workshop with you in New York and in other cities, even in other cities in the world.
Great. Thanks, Serena. I'm really happy to be here, and I hope it all comes together, and looking forward to meeting everyone that you might introduce me to. So
thank you so much for being on our podcast.
My pleasure.
Thank you for everyone listening in. Bye.